Blood Bar Part 2. Blood Cocktail. Escaping. Jaxon raised an eyebrow, his interest piqued. That sounds like quite the story. She hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. Let's just say I was facing some pressure from my family. I needed a break. Jaxon nodded, his gaze penetrating. Family pressure can be overwhelming. But you made the right choice coming here. They reached her room, and Jaxon pulled out the key, unlocking the door with a flourish. "Welcome to your sanctuary," he said, gesturing dramatically as he opened the door. Lila stepped inside, her breath catching at the sight. The room was quaint and cozy, with deep burgundy curtains, a plush bed, and vintage decor that hinted at stories long forgotten. "It's nice," she said, trying to mask her unease. Jaxon leaned against the doorframe, watching her with an intensity that made her skin tingle. "You'll be safe here, Lila. No one will disturb you." "Why do you care?" she asked, curiosity getting the better of her. "You barely know me. Perhaps I'm just intrigued by your story," he replied, his voice low and smooth. "Or maybe I see something in you that resonates with my own struggles." Lila felt a strange connection to him, a flicker of understanding that transcended the circumstances. "And what struggles are those?" He hesitated, a shadow crossing his features. The kind that leaves one feeling trapped, even when surrounded by people. His gaze softened as he met her eyes. "But you don't have to worry about that right now. Focus on finding your peace." She felt an unexpected warmth at his words, an assurance that she hadn't anticipated. "Thank you," she said quietly, meaning it. "But why are you helping me?" Jaxon straightened, a hint of mischief dancing in his eyes. "Let's just say I have a vested interest in making sure you're okay. You never know when our paths might cross again." With that, he stepped back, allowing her space. "I'll be in the bar downstairs if you need anything. Just follow the music." As he left, Lila closed the door behind him, leaning against it as she absorbed the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. The hotel felt more alive than ever, filled with an energy that made her both anxious and excited. She moved to the window and peered out, the night shrouding the world in mystery. The trees whispered secrets outside, and the distant sounds of laughter and clinking glasses drifted up from the bar below. It felt like an invitation, one that tugged at her curiosity. Taking a deep breath, she decided to venture downstairs. Perhaps the bar held the answers she sought, or at least a distraction from her chaotic thoughts. With newfound determination, she made her way out of the room, ready to face whatever awaited her. As she descended the staircase, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew thicker with laughter and music, drawing her closer to the heart of the hotel. She pushed open the door to the bar, and her breath caught in her throat. The Blood Bar was unlike anything she had ever seen. Dimly lit with red and gold accents, the space was filled with plush seating and an eclectic mix of patrons, each seemingly lost in their own world. The bar itself was a stunning piece of craftsmanship, showcasing an array of colorful drinks that glimmered like jewels. Lila stepped inside, feeling a mix of trepidation and exhilaration. The atmosphere was charged, and the music pulsed with a rhythm that resonated in her chest. Felt like stepping into another realm entirely. As she moved further into the bar, she noticed the subtle tension between the patrons, an unspoken understanding that hinted at secrets lurking just beneath the surface. She could see couples whispering and sharing knowing glances, their laughter mingling with the clinking of glasses. She ignored them and looked around. There was also a large stage to her right, where someone was performing a popular dance song. A small orchestra occupied an adjacent table next to the stage, playing lively melodies. She continued down the stairs until she reached the dance floor, her eyes darting to the bar, only to meet Jaxon's bright green ones. He grinned, beckoning her forward. She followed his instruction, slipping onto the edge of the bar as he slid onto the stool beside her. He rested an elbow on the counter, gazing steadily at her with a curious expression. "I guess introductions aren't necessary since we know each other well enough now," he said with a laugh. "What can I get for you?" "I'm not sure yet," Lila replied, taking in the menu of drinks that sounded both exotic and slightly intimidating. "What do you recommend?" "Try the Crimson Elixir," he said with a wink. "It's a favorite among our guests." "Sure, I'll have that," she said, her curiosity piqued. As the bartender prepared her drink, Lila felt a sense of adventure swell within her. This place was a far cry from the expectations of her past life. Jaxon put the glass in front of her and smiled. "Crimson Elixir," he said, smirking. "A specialty here. You'll find the taste unique." Lila raised an eyebrow, intrigued but cautious. The deep red liquid shimmered in the low light, its color almost mesmerizing. "Unique, huh?" she replied, her lips curling into a small smile as she eyed the drink. "I'm not sure whether to be excited or suspicious." Jaxon chuckled, the sound rich and warm. "A little bit of both might be wise. But trust me, it's worth trying." With a slow, deliberate motion, she picked up the glass and took a small sip. The flavor hit her immediately. Sharp and tangy, but with a depth that she hadn't expected, as though layers of flavors were unfolding one after another. "Well, it's certainly unique," she said, her eyes widening slightly. "But in a good way." Jaxon leaned back, his expression one of quiet amusement as he watched her reaction. "Told you," he said, his gaze lingering on her for a moment longer than necessary. She set the glass down, a bit of warmth spreading through her. "I'll admit, you've got some interesting choices around here." "It's a reflection of the place," he replied smoothly. "A little unconventional, but full of surprises." Lila met his gaze, her curiosity piqued once again. "And what about you, Jaxon? Are you full of surprises too?" His grin seemed to grow larger, sending sparks cascading throughout her body, causing butterflies to swarm her stomach. "You seem to have a knack for showing up at the right time," she remarked, trying to keep the conversation light. "I could say the same about you," Jaxon replied smoothly, his eyes sparkling with intrigue. "Tell me, Lila, what do you think of this place?" "It's different," she admitted, taking a sip of her drink. The flavors exploded on her tongue, sweet, tangy, and a little mysterious. "I didn't expect it to feel so alive." "That's the magic of the Blood Bar," Jaxon said, leaning forward. "It attracts those who seek something beyond the ordinary. You fit right in." Lila felt a thrill at his words, a sense of belonging that was both exhilarating and terrifying. She had escaped her father's expectations, and here, in this vibrant space, she could finally begin to discover who she truly was. "Maybe I'll find what I'm looking for here," she replied, meeting his gaze with newfound resolve. "Just remember, Lila," Jaxon said softly, "the journey isn't always easy, but it's yours to navigate. And I'll be here if you need a guide." 2 blood cocktails, someone ordered from beside Lila, their voice low but clear.